So how did you find task one? That was the task where you were supposed to book a film for you and your friend, and she lives near Ossington.
Really, the only challenge I encountered was that I didn't really understand the Toronto area all that well. So I kept kind of going to various locations outside of the spectrum of where we needed to be because I just didn't know where Ossington was. Other than that, I wouldn't have had any issues if I could have used an external application, which I usually would have done before I ever started any sort of Cineplex input. But that said, it should kind of be up to Cineplex to give you this information. Like there should be some sort of cross-reference, like nearest locations to where you want to be, as opposed to nearest locations to where you are in that physical moment.
That makes sense. Like maybe adding like a search by location function.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not so much based on your actual geolocation
Yeah.
at that specific time.
Task two is the gift card. So you were tasked with ordering a gift card for your friend's birthday.
That was incredibly simple. It was very straightforward. In fact, I've never seen it as easy on a website, and I've worked for several. It was just one of the first menu options at the very top bar on the homepage, and then you essentially had a few customization options, custom amounts, pre-specified amounts. It was pretty straightforward.
Task three was finding the trailer.
I searched the trailer in the search bar, and there it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty much as simple as it could have been.
That makes sense. Task four was booking an event.
So booking an event was very misleading, strictly because the events page and, say, party planning pages for children's events are different things. One is essentially corporate events. The other was smaller scale pieces, and there was nothing to denote that was the case. The only buttons that even specified that were buried within the homepage, and then you had to go further down. There's some at the legend at the bottom, and that wasn't all that useful either. In the end, I could have accomplished more by just calling or emailing or just asking about their rates for that sort of thing rather than trying to go through their site because it was just so convoluted.
Yeah, it seemed like you got caught in the public's events section too. Like there was public events, corporate events, and private events.
Yeah.
Like there was parties, corporate events, and then there was also like just like operas and stuff.
And trying to makeshift a corporate event into a private event or just like a children's event or a gaming event just didn't make sense. We tried to kind of find an avenue where we could just be like, oh, what's the difference between 20 individual employees or 12 party going members, but they unfortunately didn't have an option for anything under 20 to 99 people.
Task 5 was the task where you had to find a CC film.
That was extremely challenging. The icons are not well denoted. There is this very strange individual page dedicated just to closed captioning and all the background on the technology and everything, right? Which is, I guess, useful information, but nowhere do they really tell you how to navigate from there. They say just check the individual showtimes, but if you go to a page that doesn't have that showtime in a closed captioning movie, you will literally never know what that icon looks like that denotes it if you keep going to ones that don't have it.
Yeah, it doesn't make it clear that there is no closed captioning on that film. Like perhaps at theaters where they had closed captioning, maybe they could put like an X or something.
Yeah,
or, like gray it
like
out,
the
or,
Ghostbusters emblem over the over the option, or even just give a little handy legend of these are the icons to look for, but they don't really tell you that.
Yeah, there's definitely they do on some screens, but they don't do it on all the screens.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
it would also be good if you could just like filter out all the films that didn't have CC showings.
Yeah.
Like rather than have to like because I noticed you guys would like click on one and then go back and click on one and go back, and it's like that's really frustrating for somebody who needs to like use that service.
There's no drop down menu for like search by type of film or type of viewing experience or anything like that. At least not on that level. There's different things like, oh, do you want to see it in D-Box? Do you want to see it in 3D? But there's nothing for, do you want to see it if you are hearing impaired or,
Yeah. Task 6 was just buying, that was the buying a film one.
Incredibly straightforward. It was literally a matter of just clicking on the film in question. I went straight from the homepage. From there, the only stumbling block that we found was that the Facebook login didn't really work the first time around. We're not entirely sure why. There was talk of it maybe being a pop-up blocker. There was talk of it maybe being a scripting issue or just something that you had to refresh multiple times. Either way, that's not the first time I've run into that issue on the Cineplex website. It stopped me from buying tickets in the past, and I've had to like switch to the app. But other than that, once it clicked in, it worked perfectly.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.